Good evening. Today we're going to be talking about Matthew chapter 16. Before I get into that, some people who follow me on YouTube will notice that I changed my name on there. Not that my name is changed, but I changed the my name to Truth Sniper. And the reason that I did that was not an ego thing. It was nothing that had to do with that. But because when I started this page, it was like it started with the mentality of tell people the truth and don't sugarcoat it. Don't water it down. Just tell the truth exactly the way that it was meant to be told. And Sniper is because my brother, when he was alive, was pretty dead eye accurate with guns. Now I mean, two quick stories on that. When we went to the gun range when we were younger, my aim was not so good, and his aim was pretty spot on. Even 20 years ago, when we our first apartment that we lived in together, I forget what I did or what I said that prompted him to say, "I'm going to shoot you." But I told him, "No, you won't." And and so he laughed and he says, "I won't." And he picked up his BB gun. At this point, I was laughing hysterically, and there was a frisbee around, and so I ducked behind the frisbee, the frisbee shielding my head, and he was hitting the frisbee right about here every single time, and so yeah, if well, if that would have been a real gun, I would have been dead because yeah. Because a real gun would have pierced through the frisbee, but he was showing that well, the biggest lesson was don't tell me no, I won't, because you told Cliff no, you won't. It was a guarantee he was going to do it, and so that was the whole story behind Sniper. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up. That's why I changed my name to True Sniper. It was more of a honoring God by telling the truth always, and then honoring my brother with the name Sniper because he was pretty spot on accurate. But all that to tell you, we're getting into Matthew chapter 16. So let us go. We're going to serve God by getting into His Word. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, when it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given it but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, Why do you reason among yourselves because you have brought no bread? Do you not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets you took up? How is it that you do not understand that I spoke it not to you concerning bread, that you shall beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then they understood how that he bade them not to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Jesus came into the coasts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that you are John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto you, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto you, that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I will give unto you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then he charged his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. Continuing. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the third day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from you, Lord, this shall not come upon you, or be unto you. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are an offense unto me, for you savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Truly I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And we're going to keep the Bible open because there's a couple more verses we're going to go into. I need to get a drink. So, observations on this. Just a sec. Let me get comfortable because my left hand was getting a little sore from holding it sideways. But so yeah, now I'm just holding it in my right for the time. Can discern physical patterns, but not signs of the times. Now, there are a lot of things about the signs of the times now that are evident, and we'll get into it a little bit little bit more detailed. But I mostly don't write outlines for my lessons because I'm not good at following outlines. Because I forget some of the things that I need to say, but I actually wrote out the outline and then things I need to say about it. So we got automated, which is artificial connections. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, you got Snapchat, you got all kinds of artificial intelligent relationship sites. The scary thing about these is is a picture can tell the difference between a genuine face from from cyber skin, but artificial intelligence isn't always so clear because the pixels on the computer are so intricate that a person cannot always tell the legit from the truth unless you know a person, which knowing a person could actually help you in helping people that get that that get falsely accused due to due to artificial intelligence evidence. And so this is a whole idea of being an advocate for people because we still have a mandate by God to do that, which we'll get more into that here in a little bit. Um, and I believe the artificial intelligence is paving the way for the Antichrist. Um, it is possible that at least some of the Antichrist miracles will be artificial intelligence generated, and and so so hence the even the elect, if possible, will be deceived, and well, even without that, the elect, if possible, will be deceived because there are a lot of people that believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. There's also people who believe that that Christ is not the Messiah, or that he is not God. Um, so yeah, it's so there's so those are the biggest things, but yeah, one thing we must remember with this is when Christ comes, he comes with clouds, and every eye will see him. And and keep in mind, I don't know if in my like podcasts that I talked about the end times, if I talked about the analogy of picturing the most beautiful person or thing that you have ever seen in your life, and how if that person or thing were in the room, you would not you would not be able to refrain from looking. How much more is that the case with Christ? Christ is the most beautiful being we will ever see in our life, and so we're going to see him when he comes. And so and he comes with clouds. He will not step foot on earth until probably after the tribulation, when he gathers his elect. But maybe it's sooner than that, but definitely not pre-trib, as what is what people is what people say. But anyway, with all that said, the uh, the next person, which is the Islam's Mahdi, um, will step foot on on the earth, which their Mahdi is our Antichrist, and our Christ is their Antichrist. So between Islam and Christianity, it's backwards. Now Christ is a true. He's the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by Him. So, and he has the right to say that because he died on the cross for our sins, and that was the way that the price of sin has to be paid, and that's the only way to heaven. Um, and so we got, and the thing with all these sites is we got thousands of friends, but no real community. And we're and the talk about paperless or cashless, paperless and cashless society. The thing that's dangerous about this is no accountability. I was talking to my best friend Ben earlier, and how whenever there's a paper trail, there's accountability on both sides. So that way, it's like if I give you cash, um, or I give you a check, well, actually a check might be a little bit better, but it's because it's commonly used as cash. I can write in my checkbook that that the money was given to so and so, and then when when the check's cash, I can do my I can reconcile my bank statement, and everything, everything checks out. If the check is not processed, I can call and say, hey, I sent this to you such and such time ago. Why hasn't it been cashed? And and you'd be like, yeah, I just haven't cashed it yet. So there's accountability. Um, when there's no paper trail, there's really no accountability. So if the government has access to your stuff, they can um, they can rip you off, and no accountability to stop them. And then we got strange weather connected with trying to coerce Israel to divide their land. Now, one thing, the most eye-opening book I've read in recent memory is Eye to Eye, Facing the Consequences of Dividing Israel. And before, I did not. Just a second, let me get a drink again. Before, I had thought about the all the natural disasters that hit our nation in recent memory were just random occurrences. And now, back in one of my podcasts, I said that that nothing, nothing happens at random. And so, with all that being said, okay, why did all these happen in recent memory? And the reason why is because under every leader except for President Trump, every leader has tried to coerce Israel to divide her land. Every leader since FDR, but well, with the exception of what Richard Nixon, yeah, and and so, but it eye to eye documents everything that has happened from Bush. No, wait, no, it was what, late Clinton administration, the both Bushes, the Obama administration, and and yeah, it's like it, and so it was like, so it was pretty well documented, and like it was I mean, a huge eye opener. Actually, maybe it wasn't the Obama administration, but I do know that there were natural disasters during the Obama administration as well, because none of our presidents, with the exception of Trump and Nixon, have been completely pro-Israel. And the Bible, contrary to popular belief, does demand that that if we want to be blessed, we honor Israel. And so there's that. Then false Christ. keep in mind with that again, the Revelation 1:7, every eye will see him when he comes. Compromising beliefs. We have no moral absolutes. Now we're gonna get into that a little bit more detailed here in a few minutes. But artificial connections. So few people know how to hold conversations. We're so easily drawn to artificial connections that we are clueless as to how to have real community. We're so easily offended nowadays. Um, and there's a thing called tone policing, and I was talking which I'll get more into tone policing here in a few minutes too. But I was talking to a friend of mine or coworker the other day about how some of the things that we learn in school, one, I mean it doesn't uh, we don't use after, I mean, after we get out, but also when it comes to how we interact with others, writing an essay, citing your sources, and then having a teacher grade it and say, hey, you did well on this, but this is something you could do better, doesn't really help us in how we communicate with others. One thing that I wish, and debate was an elective when I went to Lake City High School up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but I wish it were that it were a requirement, because the thing about debate is learning how to interact with people who have conflicting viewpoints as you. Now, calling a person names is not a good response to conflicting viewpoints. In fact, if you call a person names, you just lost the debate, because that just shows that you are not well versed enough in that area that to really debate it. Like, I'll give you an example of that, because yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine at work, another friend of mine, who was talking about he believes that in some areas artificial intelligence has been good, and I know that it's not. Biblical. I mean, from a biblical standpoint, it's like the Bible says things get worse and worse, but there are areas when it comes to talking it. I know something not to be true that I'm told is, but I'm not well versed in that area enough to articulate why I believe it is not. And so I mean, so it's just one of those things, like if you know you're not well versed enough to articulate it, just say, yeah, I'm not well versed enough to articulate why, or just say nothing, just listen to them. And I mean that that is a pretty effective thing. But yeah, debate helps you better to um, respond to differing viewpoints than what essays ever could. So yeah, that's one thing I wish that it was different. Um, Paperless and cashless society. Like I said, no paper trail, no accountability. Powers that be can control how you spend your money. Weather patterns due to coercing Israel to divide her land. We've had an increased level of tornadoes, earthquakes, and hurricanes due to leaders pressuring Israel to give up their land. As I mentioned before, Islamic nations talk peace to your face, but behind back work to wipe Israel off the map. So saying something to your face is and then but then doing something different behind your back is not only dishonest, it's also a form of manipulation. And so it's important to be like consistent in character in all things. But the Islamic nations will talk. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Leave us alone. We'll comply. And then behind your back, it's like wait, okay. You look at the battle over Gaza. Trump and other leaders have tried to reason with them to get them to to back off. Well, when they're not at the negotiating table, they're still attacking Gaza, which is original biblical Israel, and so Israel has every right to defend that land. And so so yeah, it's like so Israel has every right to to fight for that. But yeah, so yeah so yeah that's the issue with there. Rising food costs and rising costs period. Costs go up, but our wages do not. We're in the first generation since George Washington that our generation is not better off in every way than our grandparents. And so this is a so that's one of the ways that this is the last generation. You got the false Christ. Okay, let me go to Matthew 24 to 23 to 24. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, don't believe it. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So if you hear people say, "Oh, Christ is here, Christ is there," don't believe it. Remember, he comes with clouds, and every eye will see him. So if your eye didn't see him, that's not Christ. Let's see. And now, compromising moral absolutes. Okay, abortion. Abortion is murder 100% of the time. People talk about what about in the case of rape? I love Charlie Kirk's analogy. Well, actually, two things on that. Um, we don't repay evil with evil, like to cover as a cover up. It's like, okay, you were mistreated does not mean you should mistreat another person, because the baby is a baby. At the point of conception, that's what Jeremiah 1:5 says. God says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I sanctified you, I called you for a specific purpose. So just so yeah, we are humans at conception. And then number two, which is my favorite analogy. I never would have thought to say it this way, but it's like I have a sonogram, like I have a picture of a baby that was conceived in rape, and a picture conceived in a loving relationship. Which one is which? And they can't tell because there is no difference. And so it's like, which means we have a mandate to protect human rights from conception to death. And that doesn't mean we can go and murder a person either, which killing and murder are two different things. if a person comes in and tries to break into your house and you kill them, that's killing because it's self defense. The law can say different, but biblically, I believe if a person comes into your house and you're protecting your kids and family, you have a biblical right, and you have a right to do so. Um, Gay relationships. Now, the Bible does condemn gay relationship. Doesn't mean that we should condemn anybody. We don't. The Bible says to love the sinner, love the sinner, but hate the sin. So we can, we are to call out sin, but not throw the baby out with the bathwater. So we're not saying the person is horrible because of sin. We're saying deal with your sin, and you'll be one step closer to holiness and to wholeness in your life. Overeating, this is something that doesn't get addressed, but it's definitely, I mean, I've known people in the past who have had issues with that, and most of the time is due to chronic shame because of situations from the past, which that's something that the Holy Spirit's got to help them deal with, to work through. Um, Lying, false accusers, and manipulators. You gotta always tell the truth, and truth will always overcome lies, because lies, there's a dent in your armor. Truth, there is not. Um, then you got the trans issue. Now, one thing about, I pissed a friend of mine off at work because I called trans seed of Satan. They are, because they're rebelling against God. And the thing is like, you cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot you're if you're honoring God, you will not honor yourself. You are you are doing what is right in the eyes of God. You you're good. And so really, it's like the trans issue is, I know better than God what I want to be. If I am a man and I want to be a woman, I should be able to be that. No, you are. If you were created as a man, that was because God called you based on your purpose to be a man. And if God created you a woman, God created you, your specific purpose, what was most will be most effectively fulfilled being a woman. So the trans issue is rebelling against God, and that's just fact. And also, a friend of mine said, as far as that goes, initially when I my first conversation I ever had about that, he says, I believe that the only reason people change sexes is because they have a person in their same sex that they wanna have sex with. Yeah, that's the secondary though. I used to think that was a main reason why. No, the main reason is rebel against God, so they can have uh, like so they can have gay relationship, but be able to justify it in their mind that it's a straight relationship, and it's not. Then age fluidity. I don't like this. I don't like this term. And essentially, what that is a person can register themselves as an age that any age that they want to be, and this is essentially for sexual perversion, for sure. And and so that's just God created you not just for for the purpose that He called you for. He created you when He created you, not so you can be 30, 40, whatever years younger, and register as that age. So yeah, that's a concept that disgusts me probably more so than anything to date. but but yeah, let's see. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. As far as the whole, well, this one probably addresses the Antichrist and the artificial intelligence probably more so than anything I've read, and I'll pinpoint that when I get there. Okay, so, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his head 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months, which is 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes the fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's artificial intelligence. That caused let me read that again. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell except he has a mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay, so there's that. So yeah, so artificial intelligence will cause the image to speak and cause anyone that does not have the mark to be killed. Now, faith in the unseen. Now, oh wait, one more quick thing. Actually, just that Christ tells us to don't Christ wants us to don't hurry. One thing about hurrying is whenever we hurry, we do forget stuff. We forget key details. When we're in a panic, we create. I mean, we forget key details as well. Listen to Christ; He will show you how to get through situations. Patience. God is patient with us. It's important for us to be patient with others. Now, the tone policing. The forgot to take bread. I kind of laugh about that because Christ has a sense of humor. Like when the disciple says it's because we forgot to take bread. It's because we forget to take bread. He's mimicking them. He's like, and thank God that he Christ got frustrated too. I mean, I'm sure there are many times that he said something that like that the disciples thought was was rude or not. I mean, it was not very nice. But Christ has a reason for saying for what he says and why he says it, which is why I believe that the more I study Christ, that that there's not a church that's ever been on earth or that is still alive right now or still going right now that Christ would not get kicked out of, because there's every church has at least one tradition that they that they do that is not consistent with the Bible. Okay, let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and because there's another part of this which I'll go ahead and work on next, talk about next week, because we're already almost at 43 minutes. But I there's a lot of things from the next thing that's going to be very important, and I know this one was a lot of heavy information, so we'll cut off at this point. And next week will be Matthew chapter 16:13 to the end, which I will reread that so that way refreshes your memory. But you guys be blessed. Have a good week, and I will talk to y'all again next week.